Hey guys, it's Dana with Engadget. I'm here with two new Ultrabooks from Acer. I'm going to start with the Aspire S7 here. Now, if this looks familiar, it's because it is the same Aspire S7, more or less, that we reviewed last fall, just with a few important changes. Starting with the display here, it's going to be offered with a QHD display, which is going to be standard in markets like Europe. In some other markets, it'll be an option with 1080p as the base resolution. This is actually a 1080p display here, just like the original, but trust me when I said the QHD version is coming, and I think a lot of you guys are going to appreciate it. The inside of the keyboard is more or less the same. The backlighting technology underneath has changed a little bit, if you're curious about that. Moving on just a little bit. Same Gorilla Glass lid on top here, which is great because this is one of the design features we always liked. It's still very thin and light at 1.3 kilograms. The port placement has shifted just slightly, so now the power button is near the plug here, which should make a lot of sense. Cooling technology has changed also, which is one of the less sexy changes, but perhaps one of the more important, in that there are two fans now. One takes air in, one pushes air out. So it should be hopefully a cooler experience. Perhaps biggest change of all is what's inside. So as you can expect, this has been upgraded to Haswell. So you're going to have a range of i3, i5, and i7 processors. And between the change from Ivy Bridge to Haswell, and also the fact that there's a bigger battery, it's now 47 watts instead of 35, the battery life is supposed to be about 30% better than before, which is a big deal because battery life was actually one of the biggest flaws that we found when we reviewed this thing. We otherwise really enjoyed this laptop to begin with. So now you're looking at a max of about 7 hours, which we'll of course test in our full review. And on the inside, also, you're going to have SSDs only, 128 or 256 gigabytes, depending on the configuration. And for starting price in Europe, at least, you're looking at 1450 euros. So that's the S7. That's the more minor of the two updates I'm going to show you. Right here we have the S3. Now, you might remember the S3 from IFA of 2011, and it's received quite a big makeover, so that it's now more in line with the S7 I just showed you. Similar smooth white lid, except now it's not made of Gorilla Glass. This is, mind you, a more entry-level or mid-range Ultrabook than the one I just showed you. Accordingly, it's a little thicker and heavier, as you can see. The upside to that is that the specs might be a little more to your liking, a little more powerful possibly. So whereas that one was, the storage caps out at 256 gigabytes, this has an optional 1 terabyte hard drive and also optional discrete graphics. So that might be a nice improvement for a lot of people. Moving to the inside here, it now has a full 1080p display, which it did not have before. So it's sort of matching what the S7 had a year ago when it was launched. Similar touchscreen here. It also, when it launched, of course, in 2011, was not a touchscreen model. Now it is. The bezels are very, very thin here. Biggest difference, aside from the specs, aside from the thickness versus the S7, the keyboard is a very big visual change. So it's not that metallic flat keyboard. It's definitely, as you can see, black plastic keys here. The typing experience is similar. It's a similar amount of travel as the S7, except the keys are a little bit less quiet for whatever reason. Otherwise, the design, as you can see, is just very similar, just a bit thicker and heavier, whereas the S7 is 1.3 kilograms. This is 1.67. So this will start in Europe at 999 euros. And just like the S7, a range of i3, i5, and i7 processors. Again, you also have SSD options in addition to that 1 terabyte option and 4 to 8 gigs of RAM, depending on your configuration. So that's been our quick walkthrough. Hope you enjoyed it.